Happy Thursday, everyone, and welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name is Susan. I am a freelance fiction editor specializing in sci-fi, fantasy, and romance. As a voracious reader, it is rare that I walk into a bookstore or library without finding so many books to read. And as much as I would love to buy them all, take them all home, if for nothing else than to support the authors, decisions must be made. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about how I personally decide for or against a book that I'm going to either buy or take home. My process, if you will, because after thinking about it, I actually do the same thing every time I evaluate a book. Quick note, this is deciding on physical books in a bookstore or library. It's very different when I'm online. And I actually just got back from the library not too long ago, so we're going to dive in with examples. First and foremost, I totally judge a book by its cover. I know, I miss a lot of great books that way, especially when it comes to indie books, so I do try to branch out. But we're going with total honesty here, so a beautiful cover, first on my list. If it catches my eye, I'm picking it up immediately and putting it in the possible pile. For example, and this is where it's going to be a bit herky-jerky because I actually have the examples here with me. First is Dragon Rider. I love this cover. There is nothing saying super unique sounds kind of mean, but it is very quintessential fantasy, and that is why I love it. You don't always need to be the most unique or different or anything like that. It's clearly got the main character, it's got magic, it's got dragons, it's got action. I was very excited, picked it up immediately. I don't know this author, so I'm really excited to dive in. Or To Kill a Shadow. I totally picked this up because of the cover. Look how gorgeous this is. And there were actually other reasons why I almost didn't buy this one, so this is going to come back later. Or this is gorgeous. I had other reasons why I bought this, but the cover alone, I probably would have purchased this book anyway. It's shiny, it's pointy, it's action, it's beautiful. I love this cover. Second, when trying to decide between books, is who's the author? New or existing author to me. Have I read them before? Have I heard of them? If I've heard of them or read them before, they immediately move on to the next step. So examples for that are David Dalglish and James Islington. Both of these books you should have on your list if you like fantasy. They are awesome. Not to mention great covers, but fabulous authors. I highly recommend anything by them. These are just the two most recent that I have read personally, but definitely dive in. Now, if it is a new author to me, there is a step in between, and that is quotes. Author quotes, book reviewer quotes, industry quotes, anything that's either on the cover or in the front matter. Authors always ask me when I'm helping them publish or edit or anything like that, are quotes really necessary for my book? Does anyone even look at them or use them? Me. I do. For sure. And they can mean a buy or a pass from me. That is how key they can be if I'm stuck deciding between a few really great books. Authors are very conscientious of their brand, so I've found that they're generally quite picky about what books they're going to quote, and definitely what they're going to say in that quote. So if a new book is quoted by an author I love, and they have great things to say, I'm definitely going to lean more towards buying that book than I would if it were authors that I hadn't heard of, which in genre for me is rare, and or if the quotes are lackluster. Then it tends to go to the bottom of the pile. Still an option, but a bottom of the pile. So, for example, A Feather So Black. I had not heard of, I'm going to probably butcher all these names, by the way, Lyra Celine, but it has a Rachel Gillig quote on the front, dark and dangerous and teeming with romance. Awesome, obviously. It has a Thea Guanzin, again, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, quote on the back. It also has Roshani Chokshi. Am I saying that right? I don't know. And K.M. Enright. So all people that I have found that I enjoy their books, and all of the quotes are, one of them says, opulent and scorching. It transcends the genres of romance and fantasy into a tale that is timeless, blood-spattered, and rich with longing and magic. Like, how does that not make you want to pick this up? Just so good. Also, another example of a really great cover that's maybe a bit more unique. It's not nearly as flashy, but it's still quite gorgeous. Also an example. Next in my process, back cover copy. I am a huge back cover copy person. I will give a book with clever or striking back cover copy preference over any that drag or that don't catch my eye. As with the covers, I am a sucker for marketing. So it's insane how much of a sucker I am for marketing, which I know means I miss out on a lot of great books because not everyone can write back cover copy. It's a very different skill than writing a great book, and vice versa. But there's just something so irresistible about a punchy hook or a lead that catches your eye. So, for example, A Broken Blade by Melissa Blair. Hang on, I have it here somewhere. Aha! This book is super popular right now all over Book Talk, but when I bought it a few years ago, not so much. As you can see on the cover and on the back, no author quotes or review quotes to speak of. I did see now that they have fixed that on Amazon. You can see these quotes now that are awesome and very big and prominent on their Amazon page. I don't know if that was because maybe they couldn't get them in on time, or maybe once the book got more traction, they got more interest from people to quote it. There's a variety of reasons you could have quotes later than when a book initially came out. But the copy of this is what made me buy it, in addition to a very gorgeous cover. But the copy says, "My body is made of scars. Some were done to me, but most I did to myself." It's so good. It's so powerful, punchy. It leaves you wanting more. Fabulous. Purchased immediately. Or One Dark Window. I mentioned Rachel Gillig, who quoted a book earlier. You've probably seen this out and about and around. Again, there are lots of great quotes on here, but I didn't actually recognize any of the authors that quoted this, so that didn't sell it to me. But, first of all, cover, gorgeous. And then the back cover copy starts with, "Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her." Just chills. You just need to know. You need to know what's going to happen. How can you read that and not want to find out more? And finally, my last go-to are the first few pages. If the books I'm interested in have passed all of the above and I still can't decide, it's up to the first few pages to convince me, to grab my attention. Now note, I said the first few pages, not the first sentence or even the first paragraph. It is a rare reader who will judge a book by such a small piece as just like the first line. So don't stress about that so much when you're writing. I know so many people get caught up in sort of the first line trap. Don't get caught up with that. Make sure your beginning as a whole is strong versus just the first line or the first few. So I read the beginning right there in the bookstore, and hopefully, that helps me narrow my choices down to just a few. So for example, this one came out a while ago, but The Phoenix King, definitely, obviously, the cover is beautiful. It has great quotes. It has good copy, everything like that. But it was actually the beginning assassination scene, the prologue, interestingly enough, because I know there's a whole bunch of arguments about prologues, yay or nay, everything like that. I always read prologues. I recommend that you do as well, but that's a whole other video. Anyway, the beginning of this, and it does have a really great first line, to be fair. But the whole first couple chapters, but I'll read you the first line. First line is, "One dead king, and Yasen Knight would be free." It's very, very good. And then you get to see sort of his attempt at the murder and the action and all of the great description and everything like that. Such a fabulous, fabulous opening few pages. Bought it. Now, I told you we were going to come back to this one. So this book is interesting because beautiful cover, definitely has a great title, everything like that. The copy is okay. It has a line on the back that says, "In a world of darkness, become the nightmare." Very cool. Pretty standard, but very cool. But the biggest thing for me was interesting. It doesn't have any quotes on it. And like I said, quotes are really big for me. So I was a little bit nervous, but I did go to the very first couple of pages. And first it opens with this really cool image of a proclamation from the king. So you're immediately getting the feel for the world. You're getting sort of the vibe of the setting, everything like that. And then, again, the beginning, few people knew that the night spoke. Even fewer knew how to answer when it did. Honestly, if I were to talk with the marketing team or whoever for this book, I would have said, why did you not put that on the back? Because that, immediately, I would have been like, purchased, done. I mean, granted, obviously it worked for me eventually anyway, but there's so many interesting ways for how you can get a book to sort of grab a reader, and that would have been one of them for me. But anyway, obviously I ended up buying this. As I said, so then I used the beginning to try and narrow my choices. If not, I probably end up buying more than I should, and I definitely get into trouble with my partner, but what a joy to have too many awesome sounding books to read. How do you decide what books you're going to buy? Do you have a process like mine? Leave a comment below and tell me more. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel, and until next week, keep reading.